Hi friends, happy Wednesday. Welcome back to your read aloud for today. Normally on Wednesdays we haven't been having read alouds, but since our schedule's a little wonky and off this week, we do have a read aloud that goes along with your checklist. So on Thursday, tomorrow, we will not have one. We're just trying to stay as much aligned with our checklist of what you guys have as we can and make this as easy as possible. So today we're going to take a look at a book called The Little Pilgrim. This book goes along with our theme thinking about our holiday that's coming up, which is Thanksgiving. And while we're reading this story, I want you to kind of think in the back of your brains about our story elements. The story elements are what make up a story and make it interesting. So we have characters, setting, problem, and solution. Without those story elements, a story wouldn't be a story and it wouldn't be interesting, right? So those are the things that our brains are going to be thinking about as we're reading this story called The Littlest Pilgrim. This story is written by Brandy Daughtery. That's a hard last name. And this one is illustrated by Kristen Richards. The Littlest Pilgrim. And here's where our story begins. Minnie was a pilgrim. She lived with her family in a small village. There were many pilgrims in her village, and Minnie was the littlest one. Even though she was small, Minnie tried to help with the village chores. One day, Minnie decided to be extra helpful. Give me a thumbs up if you help with chores at home too. Like unloading the dishwasher, setting the table. You can make a connection to the book. Minnie found her big brother by the house. He was stacking wood for the winter, and she wanted to help. "Look, brother," Minnie said, "I'm helping to make a wood pile." But Minnie's brother was too busy to notice her. Minnie went inside the house and found her big sister. She was mending a dress. "I'm ready to sew," said Minnie. "Sorry, Minnie," said her sister. "You're too little to help with mending. Go help Mama. I'm busy." Notice that their clothes and their chores are a little different than what we wear and the things that we do because of the time that they lived in. So Minnie went outside to help her mother. She was at the oven baking bread for dinner. "Look, Mama," said Minnie, "I'm helping." But Minnie's mother was so busy making bread, she didn't hear Minnie. See how our mom's making the bread instead of buying it at Kroger? It's a little bit different. Minnie went to find her father. Surely he would want some help. He was getting ready to hunt for food in the forest. Again, not going to Kroger, having to look for their own food and make it. "Sorry, Minnie, you're too little for hunting," Minnie's father said when he saw her. "Why don't you go pick some berries for us to eat?" As Minnie walked toward the berry bushes, she spotted her neighbor. He was fixing the door to his house. "I can help," Minnie started to say. "Sorry, Minnie, this is a big job, and you are too little." Minnie wandered through the village. She was sad. Minnie just wanted to help, but everyone was too busy to notice. Or they thought the jobs were too big and Minnie was too little. It wasn't fair. How does she seem here? A little mad, right? Minnie walked toward the water. She spotted some boys from her village. They were fishing. "Can I help you fish?" Minnie asked. He laughed. "Sorry, Minnie, you're too little for fishing." Now Minnie was very sad. Why would no one let her help? Minnie knew there had to be something special she could do, even if she was little. Minnie started to walk home and saw some berries along the way. As she picked them, she heard something rustling in the leaves. Minnie moved closer to get a better look. There, at the edge of the forest, stood a girl. And she was little, just like Minnie. "Hello," said Minnie. "What's your name?" The girl stood still and looked at Minnie. She didn't say a word. Minnie remembered the berries she held in her hand. "Do you want one?" she asked. At first, the girl just stared at Minnie, but soon she began to smile a very big smile. Minnie was too little for many things, but she was not too little to make a friend. The end. This story reminds me a lot of another story that we read around Halloween with the witches, right? And the one witch thought she was really little and too little to do anything, and then she met another little girl. There was also a story about the mummy, and she asked her whole family if she could help with things, and then she met the little witch, and the two of them became friends. So in our story, who is our main character? Who is the story mostly about? Minnie, the little pilgrim, right? And throughout the story, what's her problem? Her problem is she wants to help, but nobody will let her because she's too little. Yeah. And so at the end of the story, she decides, well, I can pick berries. My dad told me I can pick the berries. I can't hunt with him. While she's looking at the berries, she hears something in the woods. And who's in the woods? Another little girl, right? And she walks over there and offers her some berries. And what happens at the end? They become friends. So she solved her problem by making a new friend and by going out into the woods and looking for berries, not just sitting around and crying and saying, I'm too little to help everybody, right? So all of those story elements are important to our story in order for our story to make sense and be interesting. Great job today, friends. I hope you enjoyed the story just as much as I did. I will see you next time for our next Read Aloud.